I'm going to take a moment to address some important conversations happening across the WNBA, including remarks made earlier this week by Napheesa Collier. First, let me repeat this. You saw it in my statement, but I have the utmost respect for Napheesa and for every single player in our league. They are at the center of everything we do. I was disheartened to hear that some players feel the league and me personally do not care about them or listen to them. And if the players in the W don't feel appreciated and valued by the league, then we have to do better and I have to do better.
So, Kathy Engelbert just pulled off one of the fastest PR flips we've seen in sports all year. The same commissioner who spent months brushing off player complaints is suddenly out here acting like the league's favorite aunt. Now she's all about togetherness and caring deeply for everyone. Really, Kathy? Okay, sure thing. So what's the deal? Is this sudden I love everyone tour real change, or just a massive dose of damage control? Because honestly, it's the funniest pivot since Ben Simmons promised he'd worked on his jump shot.
You know how great these players are on and off the court, how much they mean to our league, our fans, and our communities. If they don't feel that, I will do everything I can to change that. No one should ever doubt how deeply I care about this league, this game, and every single player who makes the WNBA what it is. So we value feedback, we listen to criticism, we remain committed to engaging in the difficult but necessary conversations that ultimately make us all stronger and better.
Check this out. Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA commissioner, went from saying rumors were false and criticism was disheartening, to sounding like the most understanding leader on the planet. You can't make this up. At her WNBA Finals press conference, what was supposed to be a calm, confident speech turned into a full-on rewrite of history. Like we didn't just live through the last 2 weeks. Let's rewind. 2 weeks ago, Napheesa Collier, one of the most respected players in the game, dropped a bomb. She exposed private comments allegedly made by Engelbert herself. Things like, only losers complain about refs, and players should be grateful for the deal I gave them. That blew up online in minutes. And Kathy's first reaction? Pure corporate robot. I'm disheartened perspectives differ. That's not leadership. That's PR copy straight out of a template.
Minnesota Lynx star Napheesa Collier blasted WNBA leadership in her exit interview on Tuesday, accusing league commissioner Kathy Engelbert of being, quote, negligent in her governance. A moment ago, Caitlin Clark spoke on the matter. Take a listen.
First of all, I have great respect for Fee, and I think she made a lot of very valid points. And, I think what people need to understand, we need great leadership in this time across all levels. This is straight up the most important moment in this league's history. This league's been around for 25 plus years, and this is a moment we have to capitalize on. So that's honestly what I would say. I think Fee said it all with what she said, and I think the points she made were very valid.
Then it snowballed. Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark, Breanna Stewart, Elena Del Don. Every big name started speaking up. The whole league suddenly called out Engelbert's tone-deaf leadership. So what's her next move? She strolls into the finals press conference, delivers a 20-minute speech, and acts like she's Mother Teresa. Suddenly, she's all about respect, safety, and forming something called the State of the Game Committee to fix officiating. Oh, you mean the same officiating players have been complaining about all season? Now it's a priority, because people are fed up, not because she just found empathy. It's wild how we're fine instantly turned into, we're listening carefully to player concerns. That's not growth, that's survival.
As it relates to officiating and gameplay on the court, we hear the concerns, we take them seriously. Our game is faster, featuring more talent, and the game is more competitive than ever before. And with that evolution, game rules, interpretation, and officiating has to keep pace. Every major sport goes through this. Rules evolve, officiating adapts, standards shift. Alongside the growth of the game, the WNBA is no different. At the conclusion of the season, as we do every year, the league's competition committee will meet to evaluate the state of the game, which includes game rules, officiating, and player safety on the court.
And the entire speech was a masterclass in sounding accountable without actually saying, I messed up. She kicked off by hyping up the finals, Aces versus Mercury, the league's 29th season, all the buzzwords, resilience, unity, belief. Great words, totally unrelated to the controversy. Then she shifts into important conversations happening around the league. which really means, I realized social media roasted me for 2 straight weeks. She says, I was disheartened that some players feel I don't care. Some players? Kathy, that's practically everyone who's spoken publicly this month. Then she adds, if players don't feel appreciated, I have to do better. So now you care? After calling Collier's claims inaccurate? This 180 degrees turn is straight out of a politician's playbook right before election season. And then came the emotional pitch. I'm human, I have a family, my kids were hurt by this. Oh no, not the I have kids defense. Players rolled their eyes. Because while her family was upset, Caitlin Clark was getting knocked down without a whistle. Then she announced her big solution, the multi-stakeholder state of the game committee. Sounds fancy until you realize it means another round of Zoom calls and no action. The league's answer to bad leadership is more meetings. And here's the kicker. She suddenly praises Caitlin Clark, calling her a huge part of our success. That's a wild switch from the person who allegedly told Collier that Clark should just be grateful. 2 weeks ago, it was don't twist my words. Now it's we owe so much to Caitlin. Players see right through it. She's trying to rebrand from cold executive to caring leader. But words without action don't fool anyone. Sophie Cunningham nailed it when she said she's tired of the league being run by business people who don't understand basketball. Kathy might be great with numbers, but this league isn't a spreadsheet. You can't manage players like their quarterly reports.
Eyes. There are no greater stakeholders than our players. Their voice is integral to the alignment that is required for good officiating, and we look forward to including their perspectives on how our staff can better serve the game moving forward. So through the competition committee and the state of the game committee I've mentioned, we will take a hard look at what the proper line should be for good, aggressive play that we recognize has evolved into rough play, and how to calibrate the line for legal and illegal contact to ensure player safety and exciting competition.
That's why the whole apology tour feels like theater. Everyone knows it's fake, but they'll clap to be polite. Even ESPN's Malika Andrews pressed her. Did you really say players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars? Engelbert's answer? There's a lot of inaccuracy out there. Translation, no denial, just the classic fake news dodge. Then she added, I've texted Napheesa, we're talking next week. You mean after 2 weeks of PR cleanup? Convenient timing. Asked if she's still the right person to lead the league, she said, I've never been a quitter. Leadership always rises to the top. The most corporate answer ever. Her whole strategy seems to be, deny the issue, quote cliches, hope it blows over. But it won't, because players like Caitlin Clark are backing Collier, and fans are roasting the league for being more dramatic than reality TV. Even star veterans are going quiet, and silence says more than any speech. To be fair, Engelbert did help stabilize the league before Clark's arrival, brought in sponsors, grew media deals, but she's not the reason the WNBA exploded. Clark is. Kathy knows it. Before Caitlin, her pressers barely trended. Now every word she says does, and that power isn't hers anymore. Even players who aren't Clark fans admit she lifted the league. Attendance, viewership, merch, all up. So when Engelbert's Be Grateful comments leaked, it made her look jealous instead of proud. Now she's scrambling to sound like a mentor, saying things like, we owe it to the next generation. Nice line, but months late. And of course, she still takes credit. We've expanded our footprint. Ma'am, the footprint expanded because Caitlin Clark brought an army of fans. That's like taking credit for the rain after someone else turned on the sprinkler. The truth? Engelbert's trying to rewrite her legacy before it collapses. She wants to be remembered as the visionary who guided the WNBA forward, not the commissioner who lost her players' trust. But this press conference made one thing clear. The players now control the story, not her. Clark didn't even need to say much. Just calling Collier's comments valid was enough. Every time Engelbert talks now, it feels rehearsed, overlawyered, robotic. The harder she tries to sound warm, the colder it gets, like a machine apologizing for bumping into you. She closed her speech thanking her staff for being the best in women's sports, while her players publicly questioned her leadership. That's not confidence, it's denial. And honestly, this whole act might backfire. The league doesn't need more committees. It needs honesty, fair pay, and real communication. Fans don't want PR, they want progress. So yeah, Engelbert's sudden 180 degrees is funny, but also sad. It could have been avoided if she'd just listened sooner. Now she's stuck doing damage control, pretending arrogance was miscommunication. Until that changes, no speech will fix the WNBA's credibility. So what do you think? Is Kathy Engelbert truly changing, or just panicking before she loses her job? Because right now, that "I care deeply" speech feels more like a last-ditch PR play than real leadership. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button. And subscribe if you think Caitlin Clark's silence says more than any commissioner ever could.